Hello everyone. In this fourth part, we will discuss about lighting. So in this lighting section, we will learn how to place lighting in our buildings. Before we continue to place the lighting, we should first see references from the real world. Alright, here we have opened a website from Mario Wibo of Photography. He is an architectural photographer, and here are some of his works. We can see the position of the lighting in these buildings. The lighting placed on these buildings is not illuminating every area you see. For example, here it's called accent lighting. This accent lighting also provides a harmonious and balanced impression. Because here, we still need what we call shadows and highlights. And where there are shadows, there are highlights. So the contrast and highlights are balanced. The same here. Mostly, it's given using line light. Alright, now let's demonstrate how it's done in Enscape. Here we have opened a complete project. Now we will place the lighting. To place the lighting, click on Enscape Objects. In the Enscape toolbar, it will appear. There are several lighting options, from sphere, spot, line, rectangle, and disk. Now for example, there's something called spherical light, or 360-degree light. Here, we will demonstrate where to place this 360-degree light for best results. The 360-degree light is good for providing hidden light. So it's like the light is coming from inside these bushes. It's more for filling in something that needs detail and needs to be instantly illuminated. Now, here's an example of something that is not good for placing this 360-degree lighting. Now, here's an example in an interior area. As you can see here, if we use the 360-degree light, the entire room will be brightly lit. We need to use other options. Like what we did before in the interior case, we used rectangle or disk. Next, there's something called spotlight. Spotlight is used to spot a specific area. Let's try placing the spotlight. As usual, we have luminosity intensity. We can increase the intensity of the light. Here we have beam angle, which means the light's aperture of the spotlight itself. Next, in the spotlight section, there's a feature called IDS profile. IDS profile is the pattern of the light's formation itself. So, let's see here. Here's an example of what IDS looks like. So the formation of IDS is like this. As you can see, there are several patterns of its light aperture. While the default spotlight in Enscape has a simple formation like this. Here we have provided several IDS files, and there are 20 IDS files. Let's try IDS file number 5. Let's increase the luminosity intensity. It's different from before. This one has a specific pattern. However, unfortunately, here we cannot adjust the light aperture of this IDS lighting. Unlike the previous spotlight, where we could adjust the aperture, unfortunately, here we can't. To change the color of the light, you can use the color picker in SketchUp. Next, here we will also discuss the placement of the lighting in this scene. One example you can see is that all the lighting we use here is mostly strip light. The function of this strip light, as we discussed before, is to highlight. So, there are areas with shadows and also highlights created by the lighting. In this interior, we also use some artificial lights or artificial lighting. The function of artificial lights is to enhance the intensity of this strip light. So it's like the strip light has an even higher intensity, since the luminosity power here is already at its limit, or its maximum capacity. To make it brighter, we increase it, using the disk light. Now here, some might wonder why we use brown-colored lighting. Why brown? Because brown color provides a sense of comfort and invites the audience to see it with warm-colored lighting. Now, also, if you see here the lighting placed on the tree, there are several disc lights. Now, why do we place the lights on the tree? Here, the function is to highlight the areas we want to highlight. If we deactivate it and rely only on one light source here, other areas won't be highlighted as much. That's why we use the artificial lights to create additional light sources, so that there will be an extensive light source below this, illuminating the surroundings. So we need to add these small dot lights like this. That's what we call artificial light. For the line light, we also use rectangular or strip light, as we call it. And we also highlight every vegetation here below to create a sense of harmony. So even in the dark position, the vegetation can still be seen. And finally, this is the environment. Because the view's position is like this. So we created a gradient for the sky. The gradient from here to here is different, as you can check, from bright to dark. So the colors are harmonious. If everything is bright, it will look more flat. So here we create a gradient to add differentiation and complexity. Then here we also add ball lights or round lamps. This round lamp has several combinations to create this lighting. If you see here, there are these ball lights. So if we remove these ball lights, the balls won't light up. Just like lanterns, if we check the reference. The ball in a lantern will appear slightly transparent, and the translucent material is used for that transparency. So we can use translucency in Enscape. Now, by applying a material called foliage, foliage is actually intended for creating leaves, but we can use it because the function of the material is the same. Here we try to compare regular material and foliage. The non-foliage material won't be transparent, but the foliage material will be transparent. So if we look more closely, from this position to the center, it becomes darker. That's the gradient effect from foliage that we can use to create these ball lights.